Welcome, beautiful damsels. Not all queens wear crowns. Some rule with silence, mystery, and an unshakable presence. There are those who walk into a room and instantly demand attention, loud, bold, impossible to ignore. But then there are the chosen ones, the Sigma females, women who don't need to raise their voices to be heard, nor do they seek the spotlight to be seen. They carry an aura that leaves people intrigued, unsettled, and mesmerized all at once. The air shifts when they enter, and without saying a word, they challenge the very essence of what it means to lead, to thrive, to exist beyond the ordinary. These women aren't just noticed, they're studied, analyzed, and, whether people admit it or not, revered. What happens when others realize a Sigma female is in their midst? The reactions, both subtle and overt, reveal more about human nature than we'd like to admit. The world around her changes in ways most people can't even begin to understand. Number 1. Whisper behind closed doors. When people sense that a Sigma female is in their presence, they can't help but react, even if they don't fully understand why. One of the first things they do is start whispering behind closed doors. It's not out of cruelty or spite. It's something deeper. Her presence sparks curiosity that they can't contain. They gather in hushed circles, trying to piece together who she is and how she manages to move so effortlessly through life without needing the same validation they crave. The questions hang in the air. It's not that she's a mystery they're trying to solve. She's a mirror reflecting their own insecurities. They're fascinated by her self-sufficiency, her refusal to conform to the norms they've spent their entire lives chasing. And so they talk. They share theories, trade assumptions, and analyze her every move, hoping to decode what gives her this quiet strength. But no matter how much they dissect, they can never quite figure her out. And that only makes the whispers grow louder, echoing in places she'll never care to visit. They're left with more questions than answers, while she continues on her path, unaffected by their need to understand her. Number 2. Attempt to outsmart her, only to fail. Some people, when they come across a Sigma female, can't resist the urge to test her. They see her calm confidence and mistake it for something they can outmaneuver. They craft little challenges, trying to catch her off guard, assuming that if they push hard enough, they'll find a crack in her armor. Maybe it's because they're used to people who bend or break under pressure, but what they don't realize is that Sigma females don't play those games. Every time they think they've cornered her, she slips out effortlessly, leaving them confused and frustrated. They try again, maybe this time a bit cleverer, more strategic, but each attempt falls flat. It's like trying to catch smoke with bare hands. The more they grab, the more she seems to escape. What they don't understand is that she doesn't even need to fight back. Her strength isn't in reacting to their moves, it's in knowing that she doesn't need to react at all. It's not a contest for her, and that's exactly why they can never win. They're playing checkers while she's already mastered the entire board. Number 3. Secretly seek her guidance. When people can't figure out a Sigma female, they often end up seeking her out for guidance without ever admitting it. They'll approach her with casual questions, trying to mask their admiration as simple curiosity. They'll phrase things as if they just want her opinion on something. But deep down, they're hoping to tap into whatever insight she has that makes her so different from everyone else. What makes it so intriguing is how they go about it. Quietly, subtly, as if asking for advice from her is some kind of secret they need to keep hidden. They can't quite bring themselves to openly say, "I need your help," because that would mean acknowledging her power, her wisdom, her ability to see things clearly when everyone else is lost in the fog. But no matter how much they try to downplay it, there's always a sense that they're hanging on to her words, waiting for that one sentence that will shift their perspective. The truth is, they want what she has: the clarity, the independence, the ability to stand tall without needing anyone's approval. So they seek her out again and again, not even realizing that every time they ask for her guidance, they're revealing just how much they admire her. And even though she knows exactly what's happening, she lets them think it's just a conversation, never needing to flaunt the fact that they came to her because they knew she had the answers all along. Number 4. Copy her mannerisms. When a Sigma female enters someone's orbit, they don't just notice her, They start mimicking her, often without realizing it. It begins subtly. Maybe they start standing the way she does with that quiet confidence, or they mirror her calm demeanor in conversations. The more they're around her, the more they try to adopt her mannerisms, as if doing so might unlock whatever it is that sets her apart. They study her movements, her facial expressions, the way she navigates social situations without needing to dominate them. And then they start reflecting it back, hoping it'll work the same magic for them. But here's the thing, they're missing the essence of it. What makes a Sigma female so magnetic isn't just how she carries herself, but the unshakable inner strength she has. Her calm isn't an act, and her confidence isn't borrowed from anyone else. It's all hers, forged through self-awareness and a deep sense of purpose. So while people may try to imitate her outward behavior, it never quite feels the same. They might get the posture right or the facial expressions down, but they'll always lack the depth that makes her truly unique. The more they copy, the more they reveal that they're chasing something they can't quite grasp. A level of authenticity that can't be replicated, no matter how much they try to imitate the surface. Number 5. Spread rumors out of jealousy. When people can't stand the fact that a Sigma female is different, they often resort to spreading rumors about her. They don't know how to deal with someone who doesn't play by their rules, so they try to drag her down by making up stories. It's their way of trying to level the playing field because, deep down, they feel threatened by her independence, her ability to operate outside the norms that they cling to. But here's the twist. The more they talk, the more they unintentionally amplify her presence. The rumors, instead of damaging her reputation, only serve to make her more intriguing. People start to wonder what it is about her that makes others so desperate to tear her down. The stories they spin, meant to diminish her, only add layers to her mystery. She becomes even more fascinating, and people can't help but be drawn to her, wanting to find out who she really is. What the rumor spreaders don't understand is that she doesn't care. She's not concerned with what they're saying because her sense of self isn't tied to anyone else's opinion. While they waste time concocting lies, she's busy living her life, completely unaffected. And in the end, it's the rumor mongers who look small while she continues to stand tall, her silence louder than all the noise they try to create. Number 6. Challenge her calm demeanor. When people start realizing that a Sigma female doesn't need their approval or validation, they often try to pull her into drama just to see if she'll crack. It's like they want to test the limits of her calm, self-assured nature by throwing chaos her way. They stir the pot, create unnecessary tension, and try to drag her into conflicts that have nothing to do with her. But what they don't get is that she's built differently. She's not wired to get caught up in petty arguments or pointless squabbles. While others might lose themselves in the drama, scrambling to defend their pride or prove a point, she stays grounded. She sees through the noise and recognizes it for what it is, just a distraction. Instead of getting swept up in the chaos, she steps back, observes, and lets the storm pass without even touching her. This frustrates people to no end. They expect her to take the bait, to react, to get emotional, but all they get is silence, or at most, a quiet response that shuts down the whole mess in one sentence. It's not that she doesn't care. She simply values her peace too much to let anyone else disturb it. And that's the thing. While everyone else is wasting time fighting pointless battles, she's winning the war of self-control without ever raising her voice. That ability to remain untouched by the madness around her is what sets her apart. And it drives people wild because they'll never be able to shake her. Number 7. Form alliances to dethrone her. When people realize that a Sigma female doesn't need to fit into their expectations, they start to feel uncomfortable around her. It's like she's operating on a whole different wavelength and they can't figure out why she doesn't seem to care about the same things they do. They'll try to box her in, push her toward conforming, thinking maybe she just needs a little nudge to fall in line. But the more they try, the more they're met with her quiet refusal. She's not rude about it. In fact, she doesn't even have to say much. She just exists in a way that completely rejects the idea of being controlled by society's standards. She doesn't follow trends, doesn't chase after the latest thing, and isn't interested in being part of a group for the sake of fitting in. And that makes people uneasy because it forces them to question why they're doing those things in the first place. It's almost as if, by living on her terms, she's silently exposing the insecurities of everyone around her. What they can't grasp is that she's not trying to make a statement or rebel, she's simply living her truth. She doesn't need approval or attention, and she's never going to pretend to be someone she's not, just to make others feel more comfortable. And that's exactly why she stands out. While people are busy worrying about fitting into boxes, she's out there smashing them, effortlessly making everyone rethink the rules they've been blindly following. It's unsettling for some, but for others, it's the kind of liberation they've been waiting to see their whole lives. Number 8. Romanticize her mystery. When people observe a Sigma female, they often end up obsessing over her unpredictability. She doesn't follow the usual patterns, and that throws them off. They think they've got her figured out, that they can predict her next move. But just when they think they know what she'll do, she does the opposite. She's not playing by the same rules as everyone else, and it baffles them. It's not that she's deliberately trying to confuse people. She's simply living on her own terms, making decisions based on what feels right for her, not what others expect. One day, she might be fully engaged with a group, and the next, she's gone, focusing on her own world without a word. She doesn't owe anyone an explanation, and that unsettles people who are used to predictable behavior. What really gets to them is that they can't use her actions to categorize her. She's not the type to fit into neat little labels like quiet or outgoing. She shifts between states, sometimes introverted, sometimes extroverted, but always on her terms. This makes her a constant mystery, and people can't help but be drawn to the unknown. They're intrigued by what they can't pin down, even if it frustrates them at the same time. The more they try to figure her out, the more they realize they'll never fully understand her, and that leaves them both captivated and a little uneasy. She becomes the one person they can't quite grasp, and that only makes them more curious, more invested, and more perplexed. Number 9. Try to compete only to realize the rules don't apply. When people encounter a Sigma female, they often feel compelled to challenge her intellect, believing that engaging her in debate will somehow prove their superiority. They might assume that since she carries herself with quiet confidence, she can easily be rattled or thrown off balance with clever arguments or witty comebacks. But what they don't realize is that her intelligence isn't just surface level, it's layered, nuanced, and deeply rooted in observation and critical thinking. As they try to engage her in conversation, they quickly find themselves outmatched. She doesn't just respond, she dissects their arguments, drawing connections they hadn't considered, and presenting perspectives that leave them momentarily speechless. While they throw out half-formed ideas or bravado, she approaches discussions with clarity and insight, often leading the conversation into uncharted territory. It's not about winning for her. It's about exploring ideas and seeking understanding. What's fascinating is how this dynamic plays out. Instead of feeling intimidated or defensive, many find themselves intrigued, drawn into her world of thought. They start to realize that this isn't just about proving a point. It's an opportunity to learn. Those who come with a confrontational mindset often leave humbled, having gained new perspectives they didn't expect. In a world where so many people are eager to dominate discussions, her presence becomes a refreshing reminder that true strength lies in the ability to engage thoughtfully and without the need for validation. And in that space, they begin to admire her, not just for her intellect, but for her ability to make them question their own assumptions, leaving them hungry for more conversations that challenge their understanding. Number 10. Quietly admire from afar. When people realize that a Sigma female operates outside their expectations, they often feel an undeniable urge to bring her into their social circles, thinking they can claim a piece of her uniqueness for themselves. It's like they see her as a trophy, something that adds status to their lives. They believe that being associated with her will elevate their own standing, so they start to devise ways to integrate her into their world. often without considering what she truly wants. They invite her to gatherings, hoping her presence will spice things up, or they make a point to mention her in conversations, trying to drop her name as if it's some golden ticket. But what they fail to understand is that she doesn't need validation from their social structures. While they see her as an asset to enhance their image, she views relationships differently. She isn't interested in superficial connections. She values authenticity and depth. As they try to draw her in, they quickly realize she doesn't fit the mold they've created. She doesn't play along with their games or respond to the social hierarchies they cling to. Instead, she maintains her independence, often choosing solitude or authentic connections over forced interactions. This frustrates them because she doesn't conform to their expectations, but it also intrigues them more. The harder they push, the more they find her pulling away, and it becomes a game of sorts, an unintentional challenge that they can't seem to win. In their attempts to claim her as part of their social fabric, they come to a profound realization. She's not a commodity to be owned or displayed. Her true value lies in her ability to remain untouched by their need for validation, forcing them to reconsider what it means to truly connect with someone. They start to see that she's not just a fascinating figure. She's a reminder that genuine relationships are built on respect, not possession. And as they grapple with this understanding, they can't help but admire her even more, recognizing that her strength is not something they can possess, but something they must learn to respect from a distance. In a world that often thrives on conformity and validation, Sigma females stand as a powerful testament to the beauty of authenticity and independence. Their presence challenges the norms, forcing those around them to confront their own insecurities and question the superficial constructs they cling to. While others may try to categorize or control them, Sigma females simply exist on their own terms, redefining what it means to be confident and self-sufficient. The intrigue they spark isn't just about their uniqueness, it's about the deep reflection they inspire in others. Those drawn to them are often left transformed, understanding that true strength lies not in dominance, but in the ability to remain true to oneself. Ultimately, Sigma females remind us that connection isn't about ownership. It's about mutual respect and the willingness to embrace the unknown. Their journey invites us to seek deeper connections and live authentically, illuminating a path that encourages us all to be unapologetically ourselves. Damsels, if you enjoyed this dive into the world of Sigma females, make sure to subscribe. Join us for more insights and become part of a community that values authenticity and depth. Hit that button and let's keep exploring together. Thanks, damsels, for tuning in. See you in the next vid. Bye, and stay blessed.